Okay, you're gonna have to talk loud if you need to talk to us, Tiara. So it is 9 o'clock. I will start the meeting. Sorry about that. So, roll call. I'll take note of who's all here, either in person or online. I'll take a bunch of videos that look like, so I'm not sure we can do that. Yeah.
Which direction is the one in the village?
There's one at the park right there.
There we go.
Okay, we can do that. All right. Stand for the pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I just want to say thank you for everybody who is coming. I know people are going to kind of be coming and leaving throughout the day. So I just want to say thank you for spending your time on a Saturday to come down here and do this. I feel that it's very important for all of us to be able to be able to kind of set our guides straight and have some goals and understand what we need to kind of do in the future. Maybe not the immediate future, but even planning out ahead with goals. I also want to say thank you to Dwayne. He's put in a lot of work over this over the last couple of days and weeks. And I appreciate the time that you've put into this and coordinating all of that. I think that I also want to say thank the school district for this building because it's
Beautiful.
quite lovely, actually, and I appreciate being able to use this space. So without any, I will suspend the rules without objections for the rest of the time here, only because I know there might be some question and answer time that I don't want us to be super strict. Obviously, let's stay on task and that kind of thing, but I'll just suspend the rules for the duration of the meeting. I will share the screen here. Sharing screen, okay. Let Dwayne take it away. Tiara, are you seeing the shared screen? Jen, I might need you again. Because I can see it up here. Sorry.
Goes on there.
Oh, this one's the one you want? Yep.
I saw
It might just be moved to a different part. You are screen sharing. Where is this on yours? Don't worry. No. Oh, there we go. All right.
Okay, what I'm gonna do today is go through quite a few things and hopefully I can go through it quickly. However, if the questions come up, stop, because it's better off get them right away. If anybody has questions in certain places, is that all right? All right, first of all, this is the League of Municipalities. It's back about a year ago. And I'm gonna say something right away, and some is that the league is very, very, very important to elected officials and even to administrators, department heads, etc. They have a plethora, I said the word right, of information. And if you have a question, they already have it. If you have a question, something, you can do you do a search, and you search a League of Municipalities, and immediately if you have you can put in what you're looking for. They have had, I've been with the league for over 30 some years. There is always something that they already have on file if you're looking for a question. If you can't find it through your staff that's here. But I want to tell you, the league is very, very much a value to elected officials and any department head. This is an old report. It's basically, I'm following something back in 2003. It's a guide on officials. It's going to go very quickly. It's got ads in this thing. But the main thing I want to bring out, I got to go a little slower, is the resources. It is got a full of resources for you. And I think if anybody's been on the board for a while, goes here. And that's when I first start out with. Yeah. Where's my cursor go? Come on. It's so small. I'm sorry. I can't see much. So there is Wisconsin values transparency. One thing that you heard also by Nick is that local government in the state of Wisconsin is very transparent. You need to be in the open you're doing. You have closed sessions, but that is a very important piece of how you operate. I think the area, I can hardly read this, not big enough for me, got a little bigger. How do I get this bigger? I gotta find it down here. Sorry about that, my eyes are smaller. Can I just get it wider? Use this computer.
I need to move this.
Is it touchscreen? Is this, oh, yeah.
I want this to be moved.
Bigger.
Yeah, I know. I want to move this right now, so it's out of my way. Okay,
Mhm.
I'll move it back in a minute.
There it is.
Oh, that didn't help.
Gotta go to the plus side.
Plus side.
Yeah. There you go. Now you can push over. Thank you very
All
much.
right, and I'm gonna move this back up to the top.
Thank you. Okay, to the end of the law, to the end, the law requires that all meetings of governmental bodies, and you heard before, common council, village boards, statutory bodies, commissions and committees to proceed by 24-hour notice is very important, by a placement that's reasonable public notice. There is emergency situation that you can do a shorter period of time. The other thing is there's the websites right here, if you're going to try to find something in that area. And I have to, that goes back and forth. I got to jump real quickly here. There, the law is constructed with a strong perception favoring public access. Declares a detail of access, denial of access is what you don't want. In other words, open transparency is very important. And I think that's something you need to know, because, and then the other thing I wanted to point out is that the means that text message is important. Text messages, emails from personal devices or accounts, you heard, it may be considered a record subject to disclosure and matters. And for a good example would be if one of the village board members, or even a public safety committee, or even a department head starts texting back and forth between department and on business, and it all of a sudden becomes confrontational, and you get open record pressure. They can go into your actual email methods, into your text messages, and you have to make those available. A lot of people are not aware of that, and I think that's what Nick was trying to indicate, and I just want to emphasize it. There's also a case of the Department of Justice published the Free Public Records Complaint Guide. And that explains that the law in detail. If you want to access it, there's another location. The other thing I want to bring up in this portion is open meetings law violations can result in a personal forfeitures, ignoring and improper dignity, denying public records could be costly to you as an individual. So I don't know, so a lot of people don't realize that, but that just wanted to make you attention. And Nick mentioned that, but I'm just kind of driving it again. Oh, I got so much stuff in the way here. I want to get through this here. Different municipalities, different roles. And a lot of people will operate or say certain things that is in a city or a village or a town or a county. And if you got people who are county board supervisors, sometimes think, I was in the county board supervisor, I think that you do certain things in the county level, you do certain things different in the city level, and you do certain things different in the village level. For a good thing is establish policies, budgets, and the board prepares priorities for the city or village. That is what you have, is the main thing as a village trustee. Establish policies, budgets, and board priorities. I got two lines that go back and forth. Just excuse me for a second. The village is a simpler governmental structure, although local variations can take a number of different directions. There's no elected chief executive in a village. It's important that the village president has some administrative duties, but they are limited. The general rule of the village is that the president is also a trustee and executive powers are shared equally among the village trustees. Some people don't realize that. They think that the village president is completely like a mayor. And the only way you get additional authorities as a village president if you have them in your ordinances. And you provide them in the ordinances allowing that portion of it. Village has hired administrators to carry out some delegated executive functions and provide administrative oversight. And I knew I put something here. I got to just get to it. Come on. It's not going to open up here. In many cases, when you have a village administrator, you delegate a lot of the responsibilities of day-to-day operations right to the village administrator, and it doesn't happen to the point where you have a mayor. Now, in this community, what I've learned in different communities that you have standing committees. For some reason, you have given the statement is ruled out, the standing committee chair has a lot of authority. And a lot of times you have, and I'll be honest with you, because of the village of Port Edwards has lost some of the major administrators and gone through several administrators over a period of time. And you have interim administrators. The move has been, well, okay, you got a standing committee, here's the chair. And if something comes up, I'm going to go, you'll tell the staff to go to the chair. So basically, you moved in an organization operation, a lot of your staff go directly to the chair. And you're missing the administrative portion. So you have inefficient, you have a function, you have changed your way of the way an operation is de facto, and not have an administrator for it. You have more de facto that the trustees, no matter who they are, the staff will start going directly to the chair of that trustee to ask where to go. Now, I have no problem with that because I'm fortunate because I work with the department heads real well. But if you get a new administrator and don't have that structure, a lot of times the village board members who are on now like that relationship with a direct relationship with the department head. And they can bypass the administrator. So does the staff. This is what I've noticed. The staff goes directly to the chair. And basically you cut out the administrator, you cut out the portion. I'm fortunate because I've been here before. Staff that I'm working with usually all comes back and talks to you about what's going on. Unfortunate place that hasn't occurred is the fire department. I don't care if I was here 3 years ago or that portion and now, the fire department never kind of had that relationship with the administrator. And since it came back, it's been forced upon them, but that relationship has not been acceptable. They do it, but it's not a portion of it. I just wanted you to be aware of that, what you have in this location. Get to know your municipal government workers. You got to get to know them, and they work as a team. I have been in other places where it's we and them, we and them. Well, it's them is the village board, we is the staff. I also come back in here and say, well, it's the village board that did this, or the village board that did that. And when you're learning, when you get into this organization, different places, that's not good. You got to work as a group. You got to work as a team. You got to have communications. There's good, I find here, there's silos. There's good communications with Ben, or there's good communication with police department, good communication with fire department, but it's certain people that have it. And when I'm looking at the village board is the complete board of directors. You are the village board is the one that really sets the policy. The day-to-day operation is not in your hands. However, because of losing administrators and going back and forth, the department heads have taken that role over because sometimes you don't have administrators. and that's by defect. Okay, that was my little notes in there. Good governance. This is important, and this is as a board members and as your staff, be fair, be civil, take turns, and stick to the subject. Now we're talking about a meeting portion, or I think good or government, and this is something that I think I've seen deteriorate a little bit when I first came to the village board here the second time. Be civil, and I'm not just talking about being civil with each other. It's being civil when you have staff come and talk to you or department heads talk to you. It works both ways. It's how to work through disagreements to find solutions. Shouting, insults, demeaning behavior, and parliamentary games playing have no place in local government. And you'll find once you get to another board, you'll have maybe the mayor, the village president, such. There's someone always is the power of the board. There's someone who usually has changed the power of the board. And in this community, there's no one will realize that Joe Circle is your power of your board. We know that. I've seen it. Joe's been here for a long time. The new members of the board lean to him for answers, lean to him for parliamentary procedure. Joe has an air about him. He is your power of your board. And once you get there, you'll see it. Someone's been here before, they've seen it already. I worked with it. And I'm not, if he was here, I'd say the same thing. Village president should call on immediate halt and rule a bad behavior out of order. That is the person who controls your meeting. And I'm nothing against our village president. And we're sitting right here. I've seen cases I have been in, the things that have gone on and hasn't been called out. The village president's got that strength, got to know how to use it. And I already told her that. And sometimes I've seen it, they don't want to hurt somebody. When it comes to a civil meeting, you got to do it. Take turns. And I told you I want to be very honest in this presentation. Take turns. The presiding officer should give everyone a reasonable, equal opportunity to speak. Now, what I have seen is you can't speak over each other. I have seen some members of the village board since I've been here are very good at that. Some are not. It's the respect. Stick to the agenda. This is very important. Meetings last way too 2 hours. Just start wandering off the agenda. If you're going more than 2 hours in the meeting, you're wandering off, or someone's pulling you off it. And again, it's the chair or the person running that meeting to stick to agenda. Stick to the subject. Respect, remind fellow members to do the same. There's nothing wrong doing that. It's some people will go off the agenda because they have a certain thing to say. And I have done that as an administrator. Someone asks me a question, all of a sudden I'll say, I think someone heard, no, I should stop talking about that, and that's on the agenda. I've done that same mistake, but I get pulled because of questions. You will too. Taking time to proceed slowly and deliberately throughout the agenda will save hours. And I think, take turns, I'm done with that piece. Any questions on that? Something I think you have to work on as you become a village board, elected official. You all know each other. This community does. It's a close community. And you all want something to say, but you got to stay to your agenda. And if it's not on your agenda, say, okay, let's place it next time, because you should just stop that discussion. What am I at now? And can I ask, is there any water here? Because I talk, I get thirsty. Number 5, ethics, conflicts of interest. And any new board members, some of the old board members who've been on long enough or been long enough, they will pretty well run the way they feel like. You got to kind of help them. The new board members got to help the old board members because they got nothing wrong with it. They're old ways of doing business, and a lot of them don't go through this. And I've always been, I've been through other communities, I say the first thing a new elected official is get on this website, look at it, and see what your role is. And even a committee chair or committee members, you're going to fall within that same rules and regulations. What am I on? The code of ethics. All municipal officers must abide by these laws, which aim to prevent favoritism in governmental discussions, decisions making and ensure that local public officials are serving the public rather than repeating, preparing personal benefits for their position. That's hard because a lot of things you come on, you have certain ideas or certain places, and your main role is serving the public. And over time, I think when you get on the bill, you start seeing that. There's a state ethics code. We do not have an ethics code in our ordinance. I didn't see it. And basically, a lot of communities put one in place because I have been in a community where I have seen foul language back and forth between board members to the point where I was seated in the administrative, where finally the village president or whoever it was laid the gavel down and says, we're going to stop the whole discussion and ask for a recess just to get them back to order. There is times, elected officials sure get passionate, and I don't blame them, but you got to remember that.
Wait, can you explain the mechanism for that?
What's that?
So things are out of control in the middle of the meeting. I'm asking because I'm about to be a committee chair, so let's know how this works,
Yep.
right? And I
Yep.
know those are specific, so things are out of control in the meeting, you're recognizing they're out of control.
Yep.
And you can start with point of order, but when you recognize this is a hot mess, we need to hit the pause button. What's the, do you simply say, without objection, I'm calling for a recess, or is it simply, I'm the committee chair, I'm calling for a recess for 5 minutes to reset? What does that look like?
Okay. One of the things that most of you don't want to do is that little gavel sitting by you.
Yeah.
I've been in different places, and as soon as I've seen how the person in charge takes the gavel and starts banging the damn table, I'll be honest with you, you do that. And everybody looks at you, what's going on? And you say, we're out of order, we're not according to agenda. I am going to call for a recess. This discussion is not part of our agenda. Stop the meeting right there. Get them back to realize that they're here for a civil discussion, on the agenda discussion. And some people get way off it. But as a chair, it's tough to do. Whoever's been a chair before. Even I sat alongside Betsy, and I'll use it for example. I said, Betsy, I said, bang that thing. One time she did it since I've been here, and you all shut up. That gavel is what it's for.
The
It's up.
struggle that I have is, especially through public comment, right? Seeing that is I want people to be able to express themselves and say what they want. But then it's kind of like, are we crossing the line, are we not? Or it's just.
It's something, it's
Public
like,
comment is harder than it is during.
well, here's what it is. When you got public comment, and this is common, someone will make something, and then a trustee or someone will say, want to rebut that.
Mhm.
And that, at that point in time, the rebuttal is like, no, you don't do rebuttal. You're listening to the public comment. And it's unfortunately, you're shutting the trustee off. But the trustee, you do not want a debate to occur. Good example, you saw me last meeting. A debate was starting to occur. And what did I do? I decided, I didn't hear a gavel. I didn't hear a point of order. I did hear a whisper one, but I finally said, no, I'm not going to respond anymore. This is a comment. It says in your part of comment, it's not part of debate. It's not part of a back and forth discussion. You make your comment, thank you. You're going to answer me? All we're here is for your comments. And that's something you have in control. Is that your commentary has got out of hand. I don't care what it's village board, public peace and fire commission. And it's unfortunate you have a certain department that does that right now. And I'll get to that, why that's happening.
Well, can I ask another?
Sure.
I think across the board, every meeting I've ever been in, and I see this at the school board level too, right? I think the board members automatically want to respond. These are our citizens, right? We got elected by these people to support these people. So when they're asking a question, like one thing I noticed is people don't have the answers. Like they'll say like, hey, we're going to direct you to Ben or Diane, or we're going to get back to you.
That's the best way to do it.
Okay, so really just keeping it at that level, like we hear your concerns, we'll get back to you.
And you may know the answer and you write them down. And then when you get done at the end of the comment period, you may say, well, we heard such and such, maybe question. Here's what I know, and you respond. You don't respond to a guy standing there, you respond to the village board. Your really response is to everything. I was a county board member, and our rules were that anytime I wanted to ask a question, unfortunately, I had to ask the chair. Or anything to respond back to you. You don't respond to the person or your fellow elector, you respond to the chair. respond to the president.
So the directive for really everybody on the committee or everyone on the village board should really be, like, that idea of rebuttal, it doesn't belong there. If you wanna make a comment, it belongs in trustee comments at the end.
No, you can hear most time it is that because the people still there, they want to hear it, a lot of them will leave. When you're done with the comment period, the chair will say, okay, is there anybody, or someone say, one will trustee, or someone say, there was a question on such and such, I'd like to comment on it, and you make your statement there. You don't get into a debate with your,
Okay, so
with
at
your,
the end of the public comments,
Yes.
you have to say, I'd like to make a statement, so it's
Yes.
not coming back and forth, that
Yes.
person's already had their say, it's not like they're.
right, because you do know something, you do want to respond to some people. And you do have that responsibility, elected official, wanting to give help or give assistance.
And so the public understands, because again, I think a lot of people, they're showing up when they're recognizing there's a problem, it's not that, I mean, you've got Terry Smith who comes every meeting, he knows how it works, right?
Yeah.
But just the general person who shows up, and it's the same with the school board, when there's an issue, they show up, but they don't always understand how public commentary works, so it does feel like you're talking to just a wall that's not listening to you.
Boy,
So it's okay, you can say to that person, you know, thank you for your commentary, we don't respond during public commentary. but we
good,
can-
good when you start public commentary is, it depends how you chance. Okay, we're gonna take public comment. We're not gonna respond to it when everybody's done. If one of us elected official or someone on the committee wants to respond, we'll respond at that time.
So it's good to let the ground roll.
Let them see, because when you're people, I'm passionate myself. I think I've been given a presentation. I also went back to my community. I saw what they're doing. I was very upset, but I had to give a comment. And of course, when I did, I didn't realize my voice cracked because I was that passionate.
Mhm.
And then I said, thank you very much. And I sat down. But I knew how that board worked because I used to be on it, when the subcommittee on it. And I knew that the idea is that, okay, Mr. Gall had said this, or so-and-so had said this. I'd like to comment on that. And the problem is that it's done. The comment point's done. They cannot get back up and debate.
The one meeting that we had, I put points of clarification, but then it wasn't a debate, it was just like, yes, we still have, usually just kind of whatever it was, right? So it was, I kind of addressed it, and I don't know if that's right or not, but I kind of addressed it, but I didn't debate it, it wasn't a question about that. But
And
it
sometimes,
says,
yeah, well, you'll find someone who will give a comment and it will direct it specifically at you. And you specifically sitting there, well, I got a comment. And I have nothing, and Tara's Tara's good for that, because she wants to comment. And so does some members, and I bless her soul. She should make a comment. The point is that you hold that comment. And you'll hold that period of time you come back, and you can comment more calmly, fortunately, and then the other person realizes comment period's done. That gives each one of you a relationship, each one of the authority. In turn, it makes sure the citizen does hear your comment. Or in turn, it says, I don't know, we don't know an answer, we don't know that, we're gonna have to give it to someone else to answer. We're gonna get your answer. When you make that commitment, then you make sure someone gives that answer back to that person. That's important, just don't leave it hanging. That will take that citizen, my answer is, the majority of my process is, if I get a complaint or a call, I have to answer it in 24 hours. If you don't do that as administrator, they don't believe you anymore. They don't trust you. They trust. Is that okay?
Yes, thank you.
And this is my experience with different, and I've been chairing things too. Oh, this is something that I think you all know, the private financial interest in public contracts. When you are in an elected official spot and you may have your own business or you may have certain pieces, you gotta know when to say, I know I'm part of that financial, or I have a financial stake in it. All you gotta do is, a lot of times I have done this, I used to be part, I'll say, just if I'm on the board or something, excuse me, I'm not part of discussion. I get out of my chair and go sit, not stay in your chair as your position, because you have too much interest in it, financial interest, and you do not even want to be part of the discussion. Some people will say, I recuse myself and say, I'm not going to be part of the discussion, but stay in that chair. And what it does, and this is something, it's just the perception that you're still there, you're still listening. And I was on the planning commission, and there was a planning process where I own property and I'm making a decision. Asked me to excuse me a little bit. I said, I'm going to recuse myself. I sat out on the side. And then they let them make a decision that piece. Then I, So that's, oh, where do I gotta go?
Sorry, that was me. I was trying to.
It's up here, no, down here someplace, right here,
One up there.
right away.
Blue, on the tennis court.
Down to the bottom, on the bottom.
In the middle is